Okay, I'll pass on some instructions which you will follow. I have learned this trick from my own beloved principal madam, which I'll start enacting and thereafter we'll begin the session. The instructions are, the first one, draw a circle of 5 centimeter radius on that paper. Don't look at the others, just follow what your mind says. Draw a circle of 5 centimeter radius. Then, between 2 and 3 o'clock position, draw an inverted V. Between 2 and 3 o'clock position, draw an inverted V. Circle. 5 centimeter radius circle. Between 2 and 3 o'clock position, draw an inverted V. Sir, one will not measure. Now, the next instruction is between 5 o'clock position and 7 o'clock position, draw an inverted Y. Inverted Y. 7. Now, 5 and repeat हो गया तो मजा नहीं रहेगा. Draw a circle of 5 centimeter radius. Second one is between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock position, draw an inverted V. Between 7 o'clock and 5 o'clock position, draw an inverted Y. Between 7 and 8 o'clock position, draw an inverted V again. Then, on the right upper quadrant, draw a circle of 0.5 centimeter. I repeat everything again. Write a circle of 5 centimeter radius. Between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock position, draw an inverted V. Between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock position, draw an inverted Y. Between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock position, draw an inverted V. In the right upper quadrant, draw a small circle of 0.5 centimeter radius. And the instructions are passed on. I want to see now. आपका हो गया सविता. Okay, I have passed certain instructions and I have followed, and I thought someone would ask something. Actually, what I wanted was, I want to have a word like this. For this I gave you instructions. ये आना चाहिए था. Okay. So what happened in the whole process is that was the question that I expected. Communication, rather a change in the perspectives. Change in the perspective of our thinking, our communication. So with that background itself, I started this presentation, but presentation without PPT will be difficult. Okay, before I start, just to bring back, before I start discussing on the topic, Madam shared some information about the Nidana Sthana and the sequencing of the chapters. In fact, I just, when I was listening, of course, it's a very apt understanding and meaning of why the 8 chapters are aligned like that, because Srotasas are the driving forces. But somewhere in the very same Charaka Samhita, we find another reason for this, where he says a mythological story from the Kopa, Rudra Kopa, the Jwara sets in, and those who suffered from Jwara suffered from Raktapitta. And in that Yajna itself, in that setup itself, those who ran away, suffered from Gulma, who did not care for anything, went on eating, led to Santarpanajanya. And those in that status also, someone kept on doing an activity and he suffered from Shosha. And those who suffered from psychological ailments suffered from those two conditions. That is the reason that the Charaka is quoting about. Now, actually, in this presentation, much of my work has been done by Malika Madam, because I am also talking on Indriyasthana itself. So the topic was titled as the strength, weakness, opportunities and threats of Indriyasthana. What are the strength of Indriyasthana? What are the weakness of Indriyasthana? What are the opportunities that we have in Indriyasthana? And what are the... Before I start, let's look into these facts. These are the facts related to Nobel Awards. In 2018, Nobel Award in the field of medicine was awarded to inhibition of negative regulatory immune system. Someone who worked on this concept in the patients of cancer. Now, what it is telling us about inhibition of negative regulatory immune system, Vyadhikshamatva, Vikara, Vighata, Bhava, the concept that Ayurveda is proposing. Now, just previous to this year, same in 2017, the Nobel Award in the field of medicine was awarded to a concept of circadian cycle. Circadian or Kirkadian cycle, as anyone say, is nothing other than what the diurnal system of human body is dealing with, which we extensively learn and modify to maintain the health. We follow so many things, right from Dinacharya, Rutucharya, everything is focused on that system itself. Someone who worked on our concept got rewarded to that extent. Now again, previous to this, in the field of medicine itself, autophagy was awarded Nobel Prize. Autophagy is nothing other than Upavasa. Upavasa, there is so much of information available, so much of benefits of Upavasa quoted in our own literature. Someone got rewarded to the tune of Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize is a huge money. Now, in that background, let me look into, there is another concept which is a treasure that Ayurveda is having, which as of now the contemporary modern medical followers have not put their eyes on, and that happens to be our Indriyasthana. Because Indriyasthana is that sthana which none as on today, no contemporary followers of medicine have thought. Such a treasure of information, such valid points are there in Indriyasthana, and therefore I try to highlight, because and even in our curriculum also it is left to such an extent that even a Samhita teacher doesn't care for it, even a Roganidhana teacher hardly touches it. So it has attained a very less importance as far as our curriculum is concerned. In that background, what we do is we'll try to learn what are the merits and demerits and where we can cope up with the Indriyasthana. Okay, before I talk about Indriyasthana, what is SWOT? I think all of you have heard about this word SWOT. SWOT means strength, weakness, opportunities and threat. Next. Okay. The strength, what is this will be? What are the strength of Indriyasthana? What are the weakness that we can find in relation to an Indriyasthana? Remember the one fact that there is no weakness in us. Then, what are the opportunities for me to excel in the field of the Indriyasthana? Then what are the threats that I am facing as on today? So those will be assessed, those will be discussed in this presentation, the strength, weakness, opportunities and threats of Indriyasthana. Okay, it's basically a four square picture where the strength and weakness will be there and the opportunities and threats are external. We will have to find the opportunities, and to a Samhita, to that point also, the threat will be from outside. There are things which are absolutely internal in nature and two that are external. Okay, but next. So these are the benefits of going in for any SWOT analysis is obviously to have a complete comprehensive picture of what the concept we are dealing with, so that we have a mastery and we can put that into best use and we can have a wonderful communication on that. Next. Okay. Now, the question comes, why is the SWOT of Indriyasthana? Now, why do we need the SWOT analysis of Indriyasthana? This is because the fact that it is one of the difficult sthana of our Samhita, which we fail to understand. We fail to correlate the things and just start assuming that so many things are there, so many, even I have heard people saying so much of wild imaginations are there. So many wild imaginations are there, so that becomes difficult to understand. That's the one thing. Second one is, at the same time, when I myself fail to understand, I cannot give a justice as far as the teaching that to my students is. So it's difficult to explain also. And when neither I am understanding it, nor I am communicating to what extent I can put this into practice. So these are the three things which made me think on this aspect of the Indriyasthana. Okay, before I start the Indriyasthana, much of the work has been done by Mallika madam. So I'll have to just run through. So an overview of Indriyasthana will be presented. It's a chapter which has, it's a sthana which has got as many as 12 chapters. 378 sutras are there which exclusively deal with the Arishtalakshanas, and placed in such a position where we want to convert a clinician into a physician. So till Nidhanasthana, the clinical skills are imparted, and these are augmented with special knowledge in the Vimanasthana. And before we start executing the treatment through the knowledge of Chikitsasthana, we have to learn these subtle things. We have to make decisions. When we talk about Chikitsa, we have to make decisions and start treatment. Before taking such important decisions, we have to critically understand this. So therefore, it's a sthana which converts a clinician into a physician. So therefore, it is placed rightly, and will. That's the reason why the sequencing of Samhita, the sthana in Samhitas is also very relevant and apt. Okay. So this will skip. We'll directly go to the SWOT analysis. Next. Okay. Next. The strength of Indriyasthana. Now, Indriyasthana is, as I said in the beginning, no modern medicine, to whatever extent you can think, it is beyond the imagination and thinking of the contemporary science that our ancestors have given this knowledge. It is right now also, as I said, I highlighted, it is one thing which they have not seen it. If they see it, they'll snatch this also away from us. They will conduct extensive researches and find a data, and again, as Nobel goes to him, such a situation will arise. So it's a peculiarity of Charaka Samhita, a speciality which is an absolute innovative thinking, and this came from the very definition of the Ayurveda and the very purpose of the Chikitsa or the Bhishak, because these are the four vritti of physician: Maitri, Karunyam, Arteshu, Shakya, Preeti, Prakritistheshu, Bhuteshu, Upekshanam. So Upeksha of the Prakritistheshu Bhuta has to take place. So when I have to take a decision not to treat, I have to be more confident now. Giving a treatment is one part, and stepping back from treatment is another important decision that the physician has to take place. So therefore, Charaka rightly says that these are the four vrittis, and the fourth vritti would find its relevance through Indriyasthana. So those are the dharma, Vaidya dharma. So, okay, next one we'll talk about. So therefore, in the definition of Ayurveda, which talks about Hita, Hita, Sukha, Dukha, we have so much of things. There is one word that talks about Manam cha Taccha. Mana of these four ayus have to be understood by the physician, and therefore the chikitsa has to be initiated thereafter. So how do we judge the mana? There are two methods that the Samhitakara are talking about. The mana can be agama or nigamana, that is the inductive and the deductive method, through the concepts told in Jati Sutri Adhyaya, which talks about if lakshanas are observed, we can predict that he will be living for so many years. That is one method of assessing the mana. There is another method of assessing mana. If this lakshana is seen, then he will not survive for more than these days. So those are the two measures, two methods through which the mana has been depicted, and the two approaches, as I said, are there in Jati Sutri Adhyaya, and the second approach is throughout the length and breadth of Indriyasthana. These are, as I said, in Jati Sutri Adhyaya, you find these lakshanas. If these lakshanas are seen, we see that the person will be Dirghayu. Right? That's the one way. The other way, obviously, as I said, is the Indriyasthana concepts. Next up. So where we define the Arishta as Niyam Marana Khyapakam Lingam. So once this lakshana is observed, the death is certain. So one thing is for sure, you can increase the quality of life, you can make the person comfortable, but his period is fixed. He will not survive for more than that. So what is the definition of Arishta Lakshana? So which has been defined as Kriya Pathamatikrantam Kevalam Deham Aplutaha Chinnam Kurvanti Yad Dosham Tad Arishtam Niruchyate. Something which has bypassed all Kriya Patha, all stages of Chikitsa to the larger extent have been passed, and these are the events are spread throughout the body. Kevalam Devam Apnatam, Kevala means the whole of the body. So those chinna that we see, that a physician see, based on that he will fix the duration of that life, are known as Arishta. They are known as Arishta. Fine, next one. So Pushpam Yatha Purva Rupam Falasyaha Bhavishyataha Lingam Arishta. The author Charaka Samhita author said there can be no death without. It is our inability to see any Arishta Lakshana in any person who is about to die. So just like how the Pushpa is seen before the Phala, likewise before the death, the Arishtas will be seen. Whether we observe it or not is a different thing, but there will be these events, these Lakshanas that will be presented. Okay. So that's one thing. Natu arishtasya jatasya nasho asti maranadhrate maranam chapi tannasti yan na arishtapuram saram. So once the Arishta Lakshanas is seen, the death is for sure. We can only, and even in the Indriyasthana, the death period has been fixed as not more than 1 year. If certain Lakshana is seen, it can be 1 day, it can be 3 days, it can be 5 days, but not more than 1 year. So this is what is the peculiarity, which I am quoting as the strength of science, because no other science have thought to this core, to this extent. Okay, next strength of this Indriyasthana, it's a parameter for evaluating the life expectancy of a person. So as I said, how long he will live, which Madam quoted whole shloka. She graded the assessment parameters as those which are there in Indriya, Indriyadhisthana, Sharira, everything. So those are, though themselves are the parameters. So these are, they tell us how long this person, one can survive. Next one. So these are the bhavas, which were presented, told, categorized. My contention is, these are to be examined by Pratyaksha Anumana Aptopadeshehi Ayushaha Pramana Vishesham Jidnyasa Manena Vishija. Jidnyasa is Pariksha, Jidnyasa is inquisitiveness. Anyone who has a Jidnyasa to know the life expectancy should conduct examination using all these parameters, using our own tool of Pratyaksha Anumana Aptopadesha Ayushaha Pramana Avashesha, remaining lifespan of a person should be examined. And the factors have been listed. And thereafter, immediately he brings about the classification of these as Purusha Samshrita and Purusha Anashrita. There are some factors among those 44 which one has to see directly in the patient. And some are not to be seen in the patient, and them we call it as Purusha Anashrita Bhava, and they are 3 in number, and they are Dutadikara, Paticha Utpatikam, Aturkule Bhava Avasthantarani. So there are 3 things which are absolutely Purusha Anashrita Bhava, and remaining all are Purusha Samshrita Bhava. And the author is very clear to say that when we talk about Pariksha of the Purusha Samshrita Bhava, we have to go in for Pratyaksha Anumana Aptopadesha Pariksha. But when it comes to Purusha Anashrita Bhava, we have to bring Yukti here. We have to bring Yukti. He is very particular. Tatra yani Purusham Anashritani Tani Upadeshato Yukti Tascha Pariksheta Purusha Samshayani Punaha Prakritito Vikritita. Purusha Samshrita Bhava will again be classified as Prakrititaha and Vikrititaha. Whereas Purusha Anashrita, if I see something bad omen on the path, Shubha Lakshana or Ashubha Lakshana while going, I cannot make a judgment based absolutely on that. I have to establish a clinical correlation, which will happen through the Pratyaksha Anumana Aptopadesha. But I have to employ here Yukti, because Yukti is one tool where Bahukarana Yoga is taking place. There are so many Karanas taking place. Here also I have seen, I have to relate and then bring a judgment. So that's the reason why Yukti finds its relevance here in case of Purusha Anashrita Bhava, and whereas the Purusha Samshrita Bhava, the 3 are sufficient. Okay, as far as the Purusha, I just said Purusha Samshrita will be categorized as Prakrititaha and Vikrititaha. And remember, still now, we have not started till at this point of time, Charaka in his Varnaswariya Indriya Adhyaya has not begun the concept of Arishta at all. He is talking about what are the factors that will tell how long he will live. Right? So based to that extent itself, he is talking about, next one. He is talking about Jati Prakriti. Tatra Prakriti Jati Prasakta, Kula Prasakta, Deshanupatini, Kalanupatini, Vayoanupatini. But a person born in particular place will be living so long. Person born in a particular geographical condition will be living so long. So those are the factors. By nature itself, he will be living long. That has to be assessed to know the remaining lifespan also. Next. Okay. When we talk about Lakshana Nimitta, so these are the Vikriti will be of 3 kinds. One is Lakshana Nimitta, Lakshana Nimitta, and Nimitta Anurupa. When we talk about Lakshana Nimitta, we are talking about Tatra Lakshana Nimitta Nama Sa Yasya Sharire Lakshananneva Hetu Bhutani Bhavanti Daivat. Because of the Daiva, there will be some Lakshanas that will be there, which we have to see and analyze to know how long he will live. Now, what is Daiva? Daiva has been defined in Vimanasthana that Daivam Atmakritam Karmam Yat Paurvadehikam. So Daiva is not something which is absolutely something not applicable, irrelevant. Daiva is something which I myself have done in the past. So that effect would be carried out as Daiva, and based on that Daiva, there will be some Chinna, some Lakshana on the Sharira. By seeing that, we can infer the remaining lifespan of a person. Now, this has taken itself into a new branch, new field, and we'll have terms like Jyotisha Shastra, we have terms like palmistry, or we have terms like someone who reads the fate, etc. So that has taken place, and that as of now is absolutely not the scope and not in the domain of Ayurveda. So that's another method of knowing how long he will live. So that is Lakshana Nimitta. Then we have Lakshana Nimitta, which are through the Roga, through the process of Nidana, through the process of Samprapti, the person is going to suffer and will end his death. And that would be titled as Lakshana Nimitta. And we have some peculiar manifestations which we don't comprehend with any of the answers. We call them as Arishta Lakshanas, which are Nimitta Anurupa in nature. So from here, actually, in Charaka Samhita Indriya Sthana, the Nimitta Rupa, the Arishta Lakshanas begin. Okay. As I said, the author is very specific, very particular. If this Lakshana is seen, he will live for 1 day. If this Lakshana is seen, he will not live for more than 3 days. Sadhyo Maraniya Adhyaya, the days are fixed, 3 to 5 days is his period. So, Paksha or Masa, 6 months, or maximum duration has been said as 1 year. One Lakshana that we call as Arishta Lakshana, he will not live for more than 1 year. No, one of the repeated things that we encounter as far as even the teachers who conduct Viva on the Indriya Sthana, one of the repeatedly asked question is, why Indriya Sthana is titled as Indriya Sthana, why not Arishta Sthana? Because throughout the 12 chapters we find Arishta Lakshanas only. Then why did he call it as Indriya Sthana, why not he called it as Arishta Sthana? Right. So there are, madam started with that aspect itself. There are reasons. The first one is what happens. Look at the chapters. The chapters, the first one is Varnaswariya Indriyadhyaya. The second one is Pushpitakam Indriyadhyaya. The third one is Parimarshaniya. So all Indriyas are employed in the beginning itself. All Indriyas are employed. Indriya of physician are examination and Indriya of the patient are being examined. Now what happens in Indriyanika Indriyadhyaya? We'll be seeing the Indriya. So the first thing is I will be employing my Indriyas and then I will be seeing the Indriya in the patient. And another most important thing, Indriya will tell us whether the person is alive or dead. Because right in the beginning itself, the definition for Sendriyam Chetanam Dravyam. If anyone has got Indriya, then only however the Atma is there. The presence of Atma is appreciated, felt only by the presence of Indriya. So as long as we notice Indriya, we don't find whether the living or non-living is decided basically by the Indriyas. So and therefore Indra Shabda is known as Prana, and the presence of the Prana would be examined by the Indriya, and that's where these three reasons make us compel that this be titled as Indriya Sthana and not the Arishta Sthana. Another reason, how many of you have seen anyone having death? Just in front of you, has anyone died? Have you observed an event of death? Okay. What was your observation? Can you remember what happened? So what basically I want to say is, we have a belief in the concept that says that when prana leaves the sharira, it leaves the sharira through one of the indriyas. That's the reason why some of the people die with open eyes, some nostrils will be wider, some with mouth open, and we say that the prana leaves the sharira from the indriyas, and that's another important aspect that makes this sthana to be titled as Indriya Sthana itself. And again, when we talk about prana, we have so many. Madam talked about marma also. When we talk about prana means life. Life is there throughout the body. Generally, I face such questions when we talk about trimarma, etc. Why the whole body, in the whole body, the life is there. Why only the marmas are to be given? I just give a simple example. There are so many wires that this tube light, that fan are connected. But still we find the activity in certain points itself. We don't appreciate anything in the remaining. Likewise, we find the prana, we find the life existence through the marmas, through these pranayatanas that we talk as dasha pranayatana, etc. That's an important point, that we find the existence of prana through them. So therefore, as I said, Sendriyam Chetanam Dravyam, so we are dealing with life. However, there is Atma present. As long as Indriyas are there, we don't find the life, and that's the reason why this is titled as Indriya Sthana. So I told all this. Indriya in Pariksha, prana, as I said, in the death. Death is a very important thing, because when we are sure, that when we declare that when we say that he is not going to survive for more than these many days, our approach to the person change considerably. It is, we are more focused on the other aspect of life, that philosophical aspect, the spiritual aspects comes, where we divert ourselves more to those things which will stop, which will prevent the concept of punarjanma, where we are more focused to attaining the moksha. So we try to cope up with that, and in that background itself, we have some Vishnu Sahasranama in Jwarachikitsa. So we have such things which, where we with that aspect, with that angle, we see the patient. So he is not going to live anymore. So let his death be peaceful, because we all always know that quotation. Vina dainena jivanam anayasena maranam. The death should be without any troubles. Okay, these are the chapters. Madam has given a lucid detail about each of them. Okay. Now, when we say this, when we talk about death most of the times it is with certain disease. But we know that it is a swabhavika vyadhi. We know that there are, just like hunger, just like birth, death is also very natural phenomenon. It's a swabhavika vyadhi, and that means that there are people who die healthy also. So, do we find the Arishta Lakshanas in them? Do we find the Arishta Lakshanas in those who die with in absolutely healthy condition? No. The answer is provided in Charaka Samhita Indriyanika Adhyaya, where he says, where he gives the Lakshanas of Arishtas to be seen in particular Indriya, which are in Swastha only. When he tells you, see the Agni, by closing your ear, you have to see the Agni, you have to feel the sound of the Agni. He's talking about a healthy person there. He's not talking about anyone who is having diseases, because I suppose all of you have practiced this in your undergraduate classes itself. Have you done? Indicating the Arishta Lakshanas. The point of concern here is the Indriya Lakshanas, the Arishta Lakshanas are observed not only in the patients but also in Swastha. Okay. So these are basically framed to take, many times we say them, these are framed to safeguard the physician. Because physician is an important component of our Chikitsa Chatushpada, and his interest, in those days itself, they apprehended that there will be something called as the Consumer Protection Act. The society may act against the doctors. So therefore, they have prepared all those things in the interest of the physician itself. So Tadvat Pratyakhyayam, okay, Kriyapatamatik. So, when we talk about asadhya vyadis are the vyadis which are coming with Arishta Lakshanas. At that time, we have to take a decision, and that decision may be, we may face some anguish from the society. So, to keep ourselves alert from the social implications, these are told in our Samhitas so as to safeguard the physician. Okay. So again, another one of the important, you might have attended any ICU duties. So the moment we observe some changes, some serious changes in the patient, they immediately give a letter. They inform the seriousness and take your consent to go ahead with. The guidelines are borrowed from our own Indriya Sthana, where informing the seriousness is happening through these aspects of the Charaka Samhita, 12th chapter, which talks about the professional ethics. Next time. This is another strength of Indriya Sthana. So this again, as I said, in the importance of Indriya Sthana, where we talk about Artha Vidya, Yashohani, Upakrosham, Asangraham, Prapnuyat Niyatam Vaidyo Yo Asadhyam. If I mistakenly treat anything which is asadhya without telling the patient, then obviously I'll end up giving discredit. An Ayurveda doctor killed a patient. It comes in the TV news. An Ayurveda practitioner killed a patient by doing like this. So what is happening? I am giving discredit to the science. So Artha, Vidya, Yasha, my success, I had treated so long thousands of patients. Because of one mistake, I will be in news. I'll be in the news for bad things. So yasha will be lost, hani will happen, upakrosha, have to sustain the anger. The people these days, the goons, they come and do so much of the things that will they'll pelt the stone. Okay, mob cannot be controlled. So upakrosha has to be will have to sustain the upakrosha of the society. And last by no means the least, sangraha will take place. Today in my OPD, I'm sitting seeing 20 patients. If one such bad thing happens, tomorrow it will reduce to 2 or 3 patients. So therefore, all these are told in the due interest of the safety of the physician. The physician should always be safe. So therefore, these are the concepts that will put the physician on a safety note. Okay. So then the seventh point, as far as the strength of Indriyasthana is concerned, just remember, you have seen a patient has come to you, you have diagnosed, and you have given a treatment, and you have made your observation, you have seen an Arishta Lakshana also, and you send the patient, you inform the relative that this patient will not live for more than 3 days. Even though he has come very healthy, if it turns out to be true, then they will treat you like God. They will treat you like God. You become God to everyone. Because this forecasting is not easy. This forecasting is not a common thing. So that is a complementary tool in the armory of physician. You will be compared to the gods yourselves. So these are some of the strength that the Indriyasthana beholds. These are some of the strength that the Indriyasthana has got it. Now we shall look into the weaknesses. The weakness, as I said, are not absolutely there in this sthana, but they are within us. Because we are not in a position to comprehend. Okay. There is no scientific basis for formation of Arishta Lakshanas is the first one thing. We fail to understand. As long as if we can correlate the events with the things that are happening within the body based on dosha, I can predict, I can judge. But this doesn't happen with the Arishta Lakshanas. Arishta Lakshanas are peculiar presentations, and noticing them itself is a very difficult task. So that is one of the weakness. No scientific, there is no, even the commentators, even those who have worked on later, not found any given answer for why the particular Lakshana is present. We don't have any I am not talking about comparing with modern and establishing any reason. My own, based on Vata, Pitta, Kapha, if I can comprehend, then I have some values, some reasons to accept it, but that doesn't happen as far as the Indriya Lakshanas are there. So there is no scientific or basis for the formation of Arishta Lakshanas depicted, quoted in Samhitas or in any other literature. So they may be there, but they are with the people who have analyzed and worked, and they are there in their brains. Next. Okay. Absence of standard aids for its utility in clinical practice. For example, when we talk about Dashavidha Pariksha, I have a set of things that I should do, and I will do it and establish my diagnosis. That doesn't happen with Indriyasthana. That doesn't happen with Indriyasthana. So absence of any standard tools, or there is absolutely I have to make a mention that there is absolutely no research being conducted on Arishta Lakshanas. Arishta Lakshanas. Lack of standardization. Standardization is one of the very powerful tools when we talk about Rasashastra and Dravya Guna. We have to come up with some sort of that when we talk about Arishta Lakshanas. So unfortunately, we don't have any, as on today, we have no protocols, proposals on the Indriya Lakshanas, on the Arishta Lakshanas. In fact, last year, one of the PhD student in Rajiv Gandhi University itself came up with this idea. Talking about all 12 chapters being assessed, I just sat with him and narrowed down to Sadhyomaraniya Indriyadhyaya, where he can assess. Because for me, I don't believe in keeping big steps, because we certainly can't do anything with that. Keep a small step, see the Sadhyomaraniya Lakshanas. What he is doing basically is he is seeing the patient who are admitted in the ICU, and keeping them under watch with the Lakshanas mentioned in Sadhyomaraniya Adhyaya, the ICUs which have got the CC camera fitted ICUs where he will be seeing and he will come up if anyone dies, he will see the footages and try to note the Lakshanas that are there. So it's one thing that is happening. But actually, when we talk about Chikitsa Sthana, when we talk about other Sthana of Charaka Samhita, there is so much of research is taking place. Unfortunately, there is nothing happening with the Indriya Sthana. Next. Okay, I said there is no logic behind the occurrence of these strange peculiar. Nakheshu jayate pushpam panko danteshu cha. Just see what is happening. Sudden appearance of pushpa in nails. Now, how do I know it? How do I understand it? How do I have so much of difficulty in going ahead with? So this is again a weakness. I have answers for all these weaknesses when we talk about opportunities. Next. Dreams. There's so much of debate on dreams. Are they real? Do they exist? Do they really convey any meaning? Right? Do they convey any meaning? Because we have so many aristas. The whole of Purvarupiya Indriya Adhyaya talks about the aristas based on swapna itself. So there are so many different types of swapnas told. If this swapna is seen, again, he is highly specific with swapna also. If a Rajayakshma person sees this, the interpretation would be different. So to that extent, he has mentioned, but we are at the basic level. Are dreams conveying any meaning? Okay, one minute, previous. It requires the knowledge of other Shastras. I just said, when we talk about the Prakrititaha and Vikrititaha aspect of Ayushaha Pramana Jnana Hetu, we have Vikriti being graded as Lakshana Nimitta, Lakshana Nimitta, Nimitta Anurupa. When I said Lakshana Nimitta, I am talking about certain Lakshanas which are there in a person, which are because of Daiva, because of what he has. So to see that Lakshana, this Ayurveda Shastra is not going to be sufficient for me. Those Lakshanas, those are to be learnt from what he says as taking the help of complementary other science. Complementary science at that point of time were obviously our Jyotisha. So I have to take the help of that to comprehend, to see these Lakshanas. So therefore, it requires the knowledge of other Shastras. So already when I am in Ayurveda, I have to learn so much of things. So again, learning this science also, again, poses certain difficulties. That's the reason why I have put this as a weakness of the Indriya Sthana. Next. Okay. Now we shall quickly look into the opportunities that are there. Okay. The one thing, whatever you do, whatever we do, one thing that we have to remember is the science is not just simply written. Science is not just an imaginary creation. What has been written, when every other sthana have got their relevance, when every other information available in any other sthana have got their application, then what is the problem with Indriya Sthana? Is it authored by someone else? No, when 90% of the content of Charaka Samhita is relevant, how can we say that 10% is irrelevant? So it is the fault lies in us, not with the science. So therefore, it is an Aptavachana, and these are what all documented there are because of the tremendous power of observation that they have. All these Lakshanas quoted are beyond imagination. Now also, if you see any patient, or rather, on the other day I was dealing with the Vajikarana aspect of Charaka Samhita. Suddenly, one student asked, okay, in the context of Vajikarana, we come across with one animal, and suddenly Charaka brings another word known as Vrisha. Now, Vaji means one animal, Vrisha means another animal, Vaji means horse, Vrisha means ox, bull, Vrishabha. And in the context of Vajikarana itself, he brings another two animals. One is Chataka and the other one is Gaja. There are people who perform sexual activities like these four animals he is talking about. Now, for a complete Vajikarana to happen, I arrange them in a sequential order. There should be a foreplay like Chataka. There should be the par through like Vaji, horse. Horse, okay, if you now also if you look into what the activity of a horse does, a powerful sex, but doesn't have the capacity to do it again immediately. Whereas doing it again immediately is, we have bull. Now also a single bull is used to copulate so many cows in a city, in a village. Therefore, we're talking about the foreplay, we're talking about the power, we're talking about the frequency, we're talking about the quantity of semen through Gaja. So if all these are there, then we call it as Vajikarana. Vajikarana. That's the reason. How can he write without making such a powerful observation in those animals? The point of bringing that topic was they have observed the things very minutely, and brought it into these lakshanas, and they have written it, and it is an aptavachana which I have to accept and go ahead. Another thing, in the same chapter I was dealing, the one word comes, Gramya Dharma. Gramya Dharma is a term. What is the meaning? The translated books talks about, again they relate to the sexual activities itself. Now let's look into what the term means. Grama means a village. Grama means a village. Dharma means any activity. So when the Acharya in Chikitsasthana Rasayana Adhyaya says, Gramya Dharma would lead to these many diseases, and all those diseases are lifestyle diseases. So he is talking about we have to live a life which is nearer to the nature. The moment we come to a civilized society, I am forced to do Vegadharana. The moment I live in a grama, at that point when Samhitas were written, there were grama. No, the grama have been converted into Nagara, Mahanagara, and so much of changes have taken place. And at that point of time itself, he has mentioned that Gramya Dharma is going to be harmful. Now imagine to what extent we have harmed ourselves. So much has been powerful, the observation of our ancestors. And with those powerful observations, they have documented. And therefore, we have no reason to raise any doubt on those things. So they just start observing. This, as I said, is one of the opportunities that I have, as far as I had to follow it blindly, because they have said, when they have said 90% of other than Indriyasthana, when I can accept everything, then what's the problem in accepting Indriyasthana? Right? So that's again as an opportunity. Next time. Okay. Now I said, the Shastra doesn't give any logical meaning for any particular Lakshana. Based on this event in the body, this Lakshana is seen. The Shastra doesn't mention. But we can't do it. Can't we do it? Certainly it is in the domain of us. When we talk about the weakness of this the science as that, the weakness had to be converted into opportunities. We start documenting, we have to start analyzing, and just like next thought. Okay. So just like many of these things are already there. When in the Varnaswariya Indriya Adhyaya, when he says certain part of the body is color and certain part of the body is color, it should be inferred as the Arishta Lakshanas. We have a concept of cyanosis now. If the person is cyanotic, if we leave him, certainly he is going to die in very short span of time. So I can comprehend these like this. So like this, we can, for all Lakshanas, we can have such tools where we can bring reasons for that event. Next. Okay. So another in Charaka Samhita we talk about. Okay, one of the drawback of our Samhitas that everyone says there is no anatomy in it. Anatomy in it is very limited. So we know these are Sutrita, they are coded language, and the codes have to be cracked. And some of the things that we find in Indriyasthana are, these are the anatomical aspects. The anatomy of the human body told in Indriyasthana, which is again an opportunity to work on. We have Kumarika word which talk about pupil. we have Parshukagra. We don't find all these in Sharirasthana. They are there in Indriyasthana, where through the Indriyasthana I have to learn the Sharira Rachana. Next. Okay. To explain the various pathological ailments. Now I said when the Lakshana is seen, and I have to talk about how this Lakshana is manifested. The guidelines are there in my own Samhita. See, when I see a particular Lakshana, when I see a particular Hetu, I myself do an act of assessing the Samprapti. So in the body, through this Hetu, this event would have taken place, this dosha would have increased, and it would have accumulated in such and such position. And so based on Samprapti Lakshana Sambandha is accessible, is possible. Right. When it happen, it can happen with Chikitsa Sthana, when it can happen with Nidana. Why should it not happen with Indriya Lakshanas? So he is giving clue through the Samprapti Lakshana Sambandha that you can work on Indriya Lakshanas also to know the event that are happening in the body for that particular Lakshanas. The clues are there. Another clue that I have put there is the concept of Prabhava. Now, when we talk about Prabhava, Rasadi Samya Yat Karmam Vishishtam Tat Prabhavajam. Rasadi Samya Yat Karmam Vishishtam Tat Prabhavajam. The karma which is not explicable on grounds of Rasa, Virya, Vipaka, etc. would be known as Prabhava. Does it mean that that's the end of it? It is Achintya, we close the Prabhava? Does it mean that? No. Charaka, when putting these concept of Prabhava, he rightly chooses the examples which give us a scope to think. When he says Katukaha Pake, when he says compares Chitraka with Danti and says that Chitraka is performing this action and Danti is performing this action, though the Rasaguna Virya Vipaka of both are same, the Prabhava of Danti is Virechaka in nature. And he immediately gives a clue that you have to see it from the not from the spectacle of Rasaguna Virya Vipaka, but from the spectacle of Mahabhuta in it. So he is giving a hint that this is having dominancy of this Mahabhuta, that's why it is acting as Virechaka. The clues are given. And when he says Visham Vishagnam, another example, in the concept of Prabhava itself, he is talking about Sthavara Visha acting as against Jangama Visha. No, he is, however you try to explain it based on the Rasaguna Virya Vipaka, you're not going to find the answer, but he is giving you a clue that on this, you have to see through this angle. Likewise, Mani, Mantra, etc. have got their own roles. The roles are there, the assessment has to be different. So likewise, in case of Indriya Lakshanas also, in case of Arishta Lakshanas also, we have to develop a tool from where we can assess the Lakshanas through these guidelines. Next one. Standardization. Okay, as I said, when we talk about standardization, so much of standardization is happening in Ayurveda itself. When we have around 3 to 4 references for Yogaraja Gogulu, it is converted into one standard preparation. So standardization is a very important aspect of going forward, taking forward the Ayurveda, and the standardization should come to the Arishtas also. Arishtas also, because particularly it may not be relevant to bring all those Arishtas, at least there should be some beginning. At least there should be some beginning where I pinpointedly select some Arishta Lakshanas and start observing. And thereafter we can build our Indriya Lakshanas or build our Arishta Sthanas, the material and the literature thereafter. Okay. So even, as I said, when I said we have a tool to see the clinical examination, we conduct Pratyakshadi Dashavida Pariksha. And in that Dashavida Pariksha, in that questionnaire, in that case sheet, we not even mention the Indriya, not even mention the Arishta Lakshanas. At least the basic things, if I can bring this in my case sheet, my eye will be open. At least I will remember that I have to see this also. I have to see this also. That's another thing that I see as an opportunity for taking the Arishta Lakshanas forward. Okay, those are the opportunities that I have. The threats. Okay, the text talks about only one threat. This is the threat. Many times it so happens that mistakenly one Lakshana is believed to be Arishta, which may not be Arishta. So that's the discrimination that we have to do, and that's not difficult. In fact, it's not that difficult to establish the difference between Arishta and Arishtavasa, because however, in those days when Samhitas were written, maybe the society was primitive and the society would not accept the bad things that easily. Now we have developed the art of communication. We can convey the things in a different way, and we can put the patient again on the treatment, and we can see whether it is really Arishta or Arishtavasa. So that weakness also can be, that threat also can be nullified. And these, as I said, are the strength, weakness, opportunities and threats related to the Indriya Sthana, related to the Arishta Lakshanas. Finally, next. So another thing, as I said, I already said, there is absolutely no research happening in India Ayurveda in this field. Again, just before this is taken away by someone else, we should work. Okay. The conclusion is, we have a science which is absolutely Shashvata in nature. Swayam Ayurvedaha Shashvato Nirdishyate Anaditvat Swabhava Samsiddha Lakshanatvat Bhava Swabhava Nityatvatcha. So therefore, all these concepts are also very Shashvata in themselves, and therefore we have to follow it. Even if we don't understand, also we should follow it. Then again, as I said, the weakness has to be converted into the strength and the threats into the opportunities. And that's the end of it. If you have anything to ask, you're welcome.
It will be unfair not to say anything. I think he presented a beautiful analysis, a very good SWOT analysis of Indriya Sthana, one of the most neglected aspects of our Shastra. There was one thought that crossed my mind when you were saying, with newer modes of communication we can bring in, but you also very beautifully brought out the concept of Hetvabhasa, where we are likely to mistake Lakshana into an Arishta. We all know of the Google patients who come to us with so much of information. Imagine putting up Arishta Sthana and think of the questions you could expect from your patients. It's going to be quite a lot to deal with. I was just wondering if we as a group can take up in the next 4 days that we have and come out with a small monograph that I have been hinting from yesterday about Indriya Sthana. Can we do it? There are 8. And three of us can probably, 3 or 4 of us can group together, take the first chapter, second chapter. What are the relevant points in that which can be taught specifically so? Just about a page and a half of write-up. Only the practical applications which we shall submit to Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapita and CCIM and see where exactly we can bring out the practical aspects of it, or maybe we can come out with a concept paper on the same, and each of you can take the publication forward. I guess we need to do some activity like that and wind up on the last day with something concrete to take back rather than just listening and I mean, it's just a suggestion. You can take it forward. But I personally appreciate the way in which Indriya Sthana, it had never ever occurred to me that we can do such a beautiful SWOT analysis of Indriya Sthana, dealing with the strengths, the weaknesses so very beautifully. And nothing more that I would want to say, because I feel you did the best possible. You did complete justice to the time given. Wonderful job, Dr. Katti. Amidst all the running around, you were very good. Thank you so much.